like to read, but we can incorporate her reading and stuff that she does like to do.
Okay.
So
Make
we
it
can,
fun.
like for cooking, we can incorporate how she reads the directions for that.
And she really likes looking through magazines and stuff, and maybe like cookbooks or like magazines with recipes in them.
Yeah.
That could be something that ties all of this together. And also that's something I could help out with at home too, because I do cook, so something that could be.
And for organization, I think I can have if she will not be in my room for math, but just a suggestion would be having in the resource room, having her own kind of like cubby space. So when she gets done working in there, she can put it in there. And then to communicate more with you, because we want to have more communication, we can send it home in a folder what she needs to get done that night.
Okay.
And so then you can sign it and bring it back, or however you want to communicate with us. So we have a list of what she needs to get done that day. And then she can keep it in the room, the resource room. So she has her own designated spot for her materials in there.
Okay, another thing I have a question on it. How do you feel about peer tutoring? Because I've noticed she doesn't have any really, really close friends, and her brothers and sisters do, so it's kind of hard for her to see that. I mean, she still enjoys life, but
we have an after-school tutoring program for any subject, and it is peer tutoring, and so we could incorporate Leanna into that program after school.
And this is this students in her grade around the same, how does that work? Who's she going to be working with? Is it somebody going to be that's a little bit higher?
Older students, and then
there'll also be someone that's qualified, so it'll be like an instructor or someone in those subjects that'll be able to help if the students aren't able to help her. So first try to have the peers tutor her, and then if it's something that they're not able to answer, then they can call it to the instructor.
Yes. Sure. And this is a requirement that is done by the college, the local college. So we pull students in from them that are going to be teachers.
Oh, okay, sure.
Program.
So it's kind of fresh for them, and
they're but we will have a professional there to guide them if needed. But they are trained, and they are obviously not just thrown into it. They have background information before
they'll plan lessons, have lessons and stuff planned for her, and we'll see what she needs help with, and then go from each.
Okay, so she'll be working with other peers that are kind of struggling as well. So I don't know. I feel like she kind of maybe doesn't realize that other kids are kind of in the same boat as her. There are others, So okay, cool. What else do you want to go through?
I guess where we should put her in
what setting?
Yeah, what setting she belongs best in. And I don't know, do you have any input on that? Where you would like to see her?
I'm not so familiar with the settings. Can somebody kind of refresh my memory? How many there are and where she was at in the last IEP meeting?
So there is technically 8 settings, and how it goes from setting to setting is each setting there's an amount of time and how many periods of a day they can be pulled from the classroom. So we were looking at a setting 2, it says special education services at least 21% of a day and no more than 60% of the day. So that would be 2 to 4 periods a day.
Okay.
And then we were also looking at setting 3, which would be the special education services outside the general classroom for more than 60% of the day. So that would be 5 or more periods a day at the secondary level. So it just goes down to the times, how long she'll be out.
So we did point out that she's going to be pulled from both math and reading, but not writing, correct?
Correct, because she's very good at spelling.
Okay, so that would amount to how much time in each? Are they going to be equally split? What do you think she needs more help in?
What do you mean? Was he rephrasing in your math or?
Yeah, just time.
So how long our class periods are usually about an hour. And
so when other students are in their general and math class, we will have her in the special ed room for those periods. And then we're going to incorporate her in, so 2 of the periods, so we're going to have her in the resource room, and then the other one, the writing, we're going to have an aide in the room with the general ed classmates and peers.
So technically, it would be a little over like 2 hours a day.
Okay.
And that can vary,
Yeah.
if more time's needed or not.
So
I guess we should go over her goals. What do you want her to succeed in? And overall, I think in math, I'd really focus on, I will create that curriculum where she can succeed in just her basic math skills, where she is, and build on those and get better and do multiple bigger numbers that she can add and subtract, and especially the money.
Right.
Because that's going to help her in the future.
Just for like finances of her own, and obviously she's going to be living by herself eventually. That's our hope.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she needs to be able to.
And maybe even how to manage money and just go over some of
Right.
those strategies, because I think it's to the point where we're not gonna focus on long division and quadratic formulas and all that, because she needs to focus on the future.
It's
How we can,
applicable.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
focus on that. So I
and
want you to
yep,
go for
and
it.
then for English, I'm going to work on comprehension with her. So like reading stories, and then be able to let me know like what she just read. To work on the
Not
comprehension.
just reading it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also work on vocabulary, because she seems to struggle with like remembering like vocabulary words that we go over, like knowing like the meaning of them and why we use them.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just writing organization, because I've seen that she has a little difficulty with keeping things organized when she's writing.
Sure. And back to the post-secondary and employment, we're going to have a career day in 2 weeks, so I think it'll be really critical for her to see like all the different careers and maybe like spark interest in a field, or and maybe have a goal, a measurable goal that she can get to work towards to attain that.
Great.
So, yeah. So we can focus on, is there any goals, I guess, that you want to in the future? Has she mentioned anything that she would like to do as a career?
Yeah, anything more that we can do to help her?
Is there? I don't know. Has she mentioned anything in class?
All I have heard her talk about was her sports interest
And her food.
and her food. So I would say, for a suggestion for sports-wise, I can talk to some of the coaches and we can try to incorporate her to be part of the team, going to practices, riding the bus. That will, and she can maybe have a career in that, where she could, even if that's a voluntary situation where she can interact with her peers.
Sure.
She can do both.
Or maybe something in the health field, because since she likes sports so much, but she also likes food, so maybe something in the nutrition aspect, like how you should, what you should be eating, and how exercising, how many times a day, or that kind of stuff.
Great, just kind of like opening the door to those like opportunities and kind of like sparking her interest, because I think,
tying them.
like I said, like I kind of was stumped there because she hasn't really with me talked about anything, but I know inside of the classroom you guys see some of her strengths that I don't.
Yeah.
So
I just think finding something that interests her, which, like we said, was the sports, and with the sports, I'll just find something in cooking that she would like to do for a future career.
Do you have any goals for Leanna in like the house, and besides like independent living skills and like the money?
She's really good with like we just mentioned, cooking, cleaning herself. She doesn't necessarily like to stay super organized, but a lot of teenagers do have like messy rooms, so I'm not like super hard on her about that. I really think that she needs to be like passionate about something, get excited about something, and like we've said, like mentioned multiple times, it's just like her interest in cooking and how many different things we can incorporate in that. So I think that's a great direction to head in, and like I said, I can help with that at home too. So in all aspects, we can really work together on that.
And we can incorporate her in the foods courses that we have.
Yeah,
at school.
absolutely. And I think once she sees that she can be good at that, maybe that's something that she'll really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the setting, so
Okay. Well,
All right. So
Does everybody know which one they're gonna like follow along with the?
this one,
Okay.
I think so.
then,
Well, she's just gonna make sure we touch
on,
based on these ones, and then you have the note.
yeah, you have this.
Yeah.
So, how do we want to start? Are you gonna like say do the introduction?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be like, welcome to the IEP on, what's the date?
October 18th.
18th at whatever time it is.
5:43 p.m.
Yeah. To discuss, Liana, I'm, whatever you want to name yourself, I'm the school administrator.
And
Do we have to say like our first name? Like, do I?
I don't know,
say
that's what I was
Carly?
thinking. I'm going to say Mr. S because all these are Mrs., but like her, she's going to say
Mrs. P.
Mrs. P.
Do I
You pick one of the general education teachers.
And I'll just
have
say.
any
Oh, they don't have a name.
So I'm just gonna be.
Yeah, they do, like Mr. and Mrs., I think.
Yeah, they're the special education. There's no Mr. It's all Mrs. Mrs. Miss. So that's why I'm just going to call myself. Should I call myself Mr. R?
Sure.
Or like, actually I should do the English one. I'll do Mr. A, the English and civics teacher, because the other one was science. They just talked about math, English, and writing that she struggled in. So like,
These are special ed teachers. I thought
Yep.
they were just the classroom teachers.
No, they're all
Liana's
special.
special education, English, and
And I'm gonna do. I'll just do Miss W. It's easy to remember.
Yeah,
And
you
I'll
can be
be
Mr. S. That's
administrator.
easier for
Okay.
you. But I'm Mrs. P. System.
I'm the school administrator,
All right.
Mrs. H.
I guess for the. What am I trying to say? For the where we want the setting. Is it 3 that we want it to be in?
I would say, just because
I was
you want...
debating between 2 and 3.
Me
but
too. That's exactly what I put, 2 or 3. Just because I was thinking 3 because it gives you more time. Like if you have look on here, it says for 61 to 100% or 380 minutes. So if you don't use that much, that's
Oh, I
fine.
see.
And then for the next, because this is a re-evaluation.
Yeah.
Because she was already pre-evaluated and she has special education services already. So
So should we include her in for like the curriculum, like the where she's low in, pull her out, and do that in a general
like
a resource room type study?
the
Yes.
math, the reading and
Yeah.
writing, and the
That's
rest.
what I was gonna say because she's not at like the math like algebra
Okay.
1 is
So
like
her
freshman, she's not at
actual,
Yeah.
just a learning disability, right? Because right here it said mild range of cognitive impairment. What is it like? She just has learning disability for?
I mean, that's what I'm getting from it. Like, I remember the bell curve or whatever. that we had.
64. I remember that.
Mhm.
So she's
Just-
below.
Barely below 70, yeah.
Would that be one of our things to mention? Or
Well, I'm
think
mentioning
so.
it for the math because she's not at she's at like 15. You know, but you can mention that. You can say that right away. I mean, her full is 64, so that's why we're gonna pull her out because she's in those.
okay, so should we have like a plan of like what we should go through, or are you just gonna throw it and we're going? Is that what we're doing, or what?
Well,
Because I would like you probably want to know
Well,
when
kind
to
of,
say,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to know too.
Well, how about okay? So.
Introductions.
So
So
we
here-
have to.
Follow this one. I would say introduce everyone, have everyone sign their attendance sheet, share parental rights. You know, that's kind of
Okay.
Okay. Discuss meeting purpose,
Uh,
and you'll say like.
well, yeah. If I
two
just
stuff.
follow this.
and that might be the same thing. Just
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it just looks scarier.
That's the rubric.
Yeah.
So if that's scarier, then use this.
but
do you
I
wanna
mean, it's a
make
little bit
sure
more
it's-
detailed. If
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
using this, then
Okay, yeah. So you go off of that. We'll kind of go with this.
Okay.
And then another
Review
question.
the puppets. I was not ready for that.
What'd you say?
The pup and pop?
Well, let's see if it's on.
I know what that is, but I'm saying
Yeah.
we have to review that.
No.
Well,
Come on.
it does not say anything about that or flop.
Okay.
What do you guys feel? How do you feel about like peer tutoring with her?
Wait, let's see.
Because
She didn't have any
It's-
friends, did she?
no, it's like mentioning like socially
I
how
think
she's
she,
behind,
yeah.
Well,
and I feel like that would help.
I was thinking too for the math thing or any subject in general ed, like there's gonna be other students that are in the same boat as she is. So when they're in a general ed classroom, have them maybe work together.
Yeah, are you covering, you're going to cover the math, the reading, and the math, reading, and writing for the general education teacher, right? You're not just picking math?
Well, I picked math, but then you can go off of why we want them,
Okay.
why we think they should be.
There said something about that. I know, so,
Like, what do you like peer tutoring on like their English and stuff?
it said it somewhere, like
Honestly,
recommendation.
just like anything, maybe even math, because that's like something she really struggles in. And I don't know, I feel like
Recommended
it's a little bit
aid
easier to-
services and modifications. One-on-one tutoring I was thinking we could do that like by a teacher, give her extra, one-on-one tutoring, and then also do like peer tutoring in the classroom or something, so she can get.
or even outside of class. Like, is that something you can do?
Because I don't think we should do the aids like send her to. I don't know about English and that, but you won't want to send her to something that she's not even gonna be able to follow or do because she's just
Right.
she's not gonna be able to do it when you pull her out of the classroom. You know.
And then like this, it talks about the computer access too. So we're gonna like talk about how when you said like math apps or whatever, we'll bring that up and say that we think that she should have an iPad, and you're gonna say either we can or can't. But you're gonna say we can.
So you.
So,
So that would be something that I have to provide for her. Is that what you're saying?
No, the
No.
school district.
but if you have an objection over it, like if you don't want her to have one, then you can say no. I don't think she needs one, and I'd be like, okay, maybe she'll just use it in
That's
class,
cool.
and then
Is there anything you want like us to like mention?
Yeah.
I guess like
Right.
Well, okay, can we just go over like math, reading, and writing? What we're gonna like say that we're gonna implement, and what I can like go off from.
we have to
from that.
write goals. That's the part that
Yes.
I'm nervous about.
for implementing, I think since we're pulling her out of the room, those are the three main areas where she struggles the most. So I think we should do that in the recess room and focus on that outside, and then incorporate her in
Sign.
choir and like physical education and stuff, so she has interaction with her peers
Mhm.
and those kinds. And then when you pull her out, you can focus on like the future life because they talk about that.
A lot.
So focus on like how
Like
we can.
if you read the mom and dad
Yeah.
summary, the
Well,
mom
the mom was
line-
like worried
Transition.
about that's like one of the main focuses is this transition period.
So I guess when we pull her out, we
this
can
is all the
focus
mom
on
right
some
here.
of those.
Locate the bridge which transforms. See Liana flourish academically. See Liana discover and become emotionally drawn. Meet a soulmate, magnifying a reason for each other's existence.
And then the father was just saying how
He was all about how he wants her to be successful after school, like in life and all that kind of stuff.
So I guess we could ask you suggestions on what you would like us to see, because you said more. There's something in here that says, since her high school, we have had less communication with how she's doing in school. So maybe we should incorporate how we could communicate better with her parents or something in that form.
And then also, like when she asks in the beginning, we probably should start off with like, oh, can you remind me of, since the reevaluation, like remind me of Liana's likes
Right.
and dislikes.
and how you can relate that to like how she's doing in
Yeah,
school.
so you can say some of these if you want, and then some of the dislikes, and then I think this one's cool, like wishes what she could do, and maybe, try to incorporate, but that's a lot of
Well,
that, none
I
of these are
highlighted like a couple of things,
Okay.
like losing weight and spending more time with family. I feel like there's like slight like depression.
That's what I was thinking. Then it said, Leanna does not presently have a best friend of the same sex. So like maybe
She needs
she's being
social.
bullied because it says she wants to lose weight, and so maybe she has
Well,
like a
yeah, you
bad
could put
body.
that in her head,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe she has a bad
Well, we don't
body
want to
image.
assume that.
No.
Well, they said we could make up stuff about it.
Yeah.
So you want to say that she's bullied?
I shouldn't
And
laugh. That's not something to laugh about. But I don't know if that's like what you want to go off of, like that, or is that?
I don't know if that's necessarily like significant. We can just
Yeah.
point out like that those are like kind of negative things, and I think
I was thinking like
'Cause that
more
could
of
relate
like
to
the
school,
social skills.
right
Yeah, that
related to the social
And how do we want to incorporate social skills? Like, what would you want? How do you
like
create like a good friend? Is that like what you were talking about with
with
peer
peer
tutoring?
tutoring, starting with that. But like, I mean, that could only go so far. Like, cause
yeah,
Do
how do
does she
you
have
get
like
that?
any sports interests?
Like,
Yeah, volleyball. It says right here. Swim, volleyball. She likes to cook, play basketball,
So put her,
play badminton. Ooh, she likes
incorporate
swimming.
her maybe, and see if she wants to do an after school event.
Mhm.
Even be incorporated in like just doing bookkeeping or stuff like that. If she
Well,
don't
she
want to
could play.
participate.
Oh yeah, if she doesn't want to play,
Yeah.
yeah.
Be like manager.
And then she can ride the bus and interact with them, and
Yeah.
that would be after school.
well, I was just like thinking like with peer tutoring, is that something that peers have to sign up for? Because you can't like force a student to like work with somebody.
You
Like,
would
they're gonna
ask.
they have to be
You could
willing.
maybe ask them. Someone that you see that's like succeeding in that topic, like be like, would you be willing to tutor?
So maybe we can just say so and so's willing to, just
Yeah.
so we can. And is that something that you can put in an IEP? That like we have somebody that's willing to.
Yeah, she's gonna. I think you can say that. You could be like, 3 days a week after school, she's gonna meet with Billy, and he's gonna tutor her in math and
Okay.
all 3 subjects, or just one. Do you want all 3?
I mean, yeah. If that, yeah, we can say.
Or
I
but
agree
we
to
can
that.
also do.
But what if that person like decided they didn't want to, and it's in their IEP that certain person is
Or
going
you
to be
just
working
do
with them?
you have like through the gen ed teacher, you could have that could be like assignment for like I'd be like for an assignment for my class, I assigned students to work individually as a tutor, like we are assigned to tutor
Mm-hmm.
kids. I don't know if that's like a requirement for high school, but you can maybe that could be like a special project. They'll have some
Mhm.
tutoring on the
Or we
side.
could just enroll her in an after-school program. Like
Mhm.
my school had there was like an after-school program that they could go to and get help.
Mhm.
There was other peers in it, but it was facilitated kind of like this was by a qualified instructor,
Mm-hmm.
like by a teacher,
Yeah.
so that they were able to get help on any subject. And then if they weren't able, the teacher that was there wasn't able to help, they like would find someone that could help. So maybe should we just say after-school program? She will go to an after-school program.
But do we
Um,
supply that, or is that your own thing that you?
Well, she has to be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but are we for the school providing that?
Well, if we have an after school, we'll say that there's a high school funded after school program that's free,
Mhm.
and we would like to have her attend.
Mhm.
If okay with you,
Well,
we
and
can
I'm
just
gonna and I'm
yeah.
gonna say of course because that's like a
Yeah.
main focus. It's
Yeah.
just the social interaction. And,
or yeah, you'd be
outside
like,
of
of course, I think that would really be beneficial.
yeah.
I just don't know what you wanted to tutor her on.
Well,
Her subjects:
Just
math,
anything,
English, and writing,
just the basics.
to try to get her back up to par with.
okay. Well, say like in this after-school program that they're grouped in their levels for those certain. Say they're gonna go through reading, writing, and math, and then they're gonna be grouped with students that are, maybe a little bit better, a little not with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then go from there with that. I don't know if that. So it's a little bit more structured rather than just a student, like a teacher talking to them, because she's not gonna have much social interaction with that.
Do you have that piece of paper that you have to hand her?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do review. So determine roles, did that. Make name tags before review the student's file. Did that. Invite all team members. Mail the parents right. She said if you want to, you can be like, oh, you should have received one of these in the mail, but I would like to provide you with, what is it called?
Procedure safeguards.
Good.
Another thing with the iPad that you guys are going to mention, I might kind of throw in there that might limit her social interaction.
Well, that's
and then we can like talk about exactly, and then you can go ahead and say
it'll be for in-class purposes only,
correct.
and it won't go home with her.
Well, it'll have to go home with her.
No.
Because like she wants activities to do at home with her.
Right, and then
so like those are activities that she could do with her mom at home. I guess you can come up
The
with
activities that we could send her home with activities to do with her mom that don't include an iPad, unless you want her to have
like it's like a prompt.
Yeah. Like the iPad could be something that would help her in the classroom.
it could be both.
Okay.
In the classroom and at home, but that certain time where she's supposed to be having like that social interaction
And needs to
with
put away.
like sports, and it can't be like out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then another thing we mentioned last week too, when we were kind of starting to talk about this, is that like the whole like grocery store kind of like scenario, because we were talking about like the money and counting and how that would be like helping her with social skills, also with the money counting and actually like talking to other people, because it says that she
And even in for this, I know Dr. Kirk, you haven't had his class, but he did a scenario like this where he had an individual, and every week they'd go get school supplies. It's like in their sped course, and then they'd practice, and then when they got like the courage and they knew it, then they'd go to the grocery store and get the supplies themselves. It may sound silly, but actually, I don't know, that's something you'd want to incorporate.
Yeah.
and I feel like she's comfortable with that part, but with like I said, the money.
Yeah,
and, like,
she
Yeah.
seems, and like going through it, seems like she has a lot of life skills. Like she can cook,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
can bathe herself, she can go to the bathroom herself, like all that kind of stuff she can do by herself. It just seems like the main focus is educational, and then also like the big social
Yeah,
aspect.
and I guess we can say include her like in the gen ed courses, like math, not the math, but like the PE and the music,
Yeah.
all that. What else do we even?
Yeah,
Egg.
physical education,
Egg classes.
science classes,
Foods. She likes food.
food, like a home ec.
Yeah. Health.
Okay, so the purpose of this meeting, what are we gonna state?
Purpose of this meeting.
To reevaluate Liana's IEP to make sure it's up to date with.
I think we should start focusing on the life stuff after.
Yep.
Up to date.
So
Because she's
just-
16, so.
Because she's 16, yep, and make sure it
To
is
make a transition plan
from high school to
to the
after.
Okay, and we haven't like touched on any of it yet. What are we gonna say about that?
The after plan?
wing it. No.
No, the after plan would be doing those basic skills like money and stuff so that she can implement it in the future. So she can go to a grocery store herself and be able to buy
Yeah,
it.
so that is the
Well, and the
Yeah.
social part, so that when she gets out of school, hopefully she goes to college or whatnot, she'll be able to live with a roommate, she'll know how to, yeah.
And just a IEP. Is it every year after 16? Or just 16 and well, she can stay till she's 21.
Isn't it an annual?
Yeah, she can stay till she's 21. I think it's every year.
Alright, and then, so we know her educational strengths and needs, her goals, objectives. So we need to focus on like her strengths too, not only her things that she needs help with. So her strengths were like, what was all her strengths? She can spell really well, but since she's not able to do, she's not able to comprehend what she
Yeah.
read.
And like her writing isn't well organized.
Yeah.
So for tutoring, you could do a tutoring strategy just on comprehension, like we do, like those strategies we learned.
Mm-hmm.
Just do one focus on comprehension, so she could build on that.
You're right here.
An after school program.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like throw ideas off each other.
Yeah.
So
What were those comprehension strategies, like repetitive reading or reciprocal reading?
Are you guys gonna be like asking me like, oh, how do you feel about this? What do you?
yeah, like a lot of it is gonna be like we'll be talking and then we'll be like, are you okay with this? Like that kind of stuff and like your opinion on it and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
I think
And then any terms that we use, we have to like define, or you can't be like LRE. You need
Yeah.
to say least restrictive environment, and then If you don't know, like if you want to on one or two of them, or
Like, can you
something,
remind
be
me
like,
what that means?
yeah, something like that.
You.
Okay.
How would you like to specifically make? How would you like to specifically? What? How would you like to make feel welcome?
What?
How would you like to make feel welcome?
Where are you reading?
Oh, pre-meeting. Because since we're specifically made to feel welcome by.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Specifically made to feel welcome by.
There we go.
Activity.
That.
Okay. And then and then we have to go like transition services. She's
And we can even just like point that out.
testing.
It's not gonna be perfect.
Shoot, we didn't do anything about testing.
Well, I was just gonna run over her test when I talk about math. And be like, she scored below average, on all of them. That's what makes her have an impairment. And that's why she qualifies for special ed. And then I'm just gonna go in more detail with the math.
So is this the math score that you're using? 57?
Total mathematics, yep.
And then I'm going to use the total reading, 57.
So for overall, if you want
Total writing.
yeah. And
So writing, she's not. Spelling, she's over. Because that 70 is the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, she's at 64. So 70 or below in writing, reading, and math.
And honestly, I think we could put her in a writing course that is with her peers and have an aide there to support her. And she's on borderline, but that's why we can bend the requirements to fit her needs with an aide.
But isn't that included in reading? There's not a subject that's just called writing, is there?
Well, I had one.
You did?
Yeah, like advanced writing.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. Speech.
Mine was always, we had like everything in reading, writing, and spelling all fell under the subject reading.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think once it gets to like a certain point, it does.
Because in high school I didn't have no just writing classes. It was like, you did?
Yeah, we had them offered.
Oh.
Like advanced writing.
Mm-hmm. That's what I had.
Oh.
Like creative writing, or
Yeah.
journalism, or
Journal, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that. So
So
for
that
she's gonna stay in the classroom,
With an aide. And
the
then
general classroom.
maybe at her, well, this could be in general, but I'm not the writing teacher, but just in general, we can make accommodations for her.
Okay.
whatever.
And say I'm gonna agree with that stuff, and then I'm gonna like often just mention like, okay, how are we gonna like, how is this gonna help her transition? And then you can point out like the whole like grocery store scenario, like, but that would be with math. What would we do with writing and
Like
reading?
writing out applications,
Jotting,
resumes, or
We'll say that we can work on that for sure.
Yeah.
Introducing that at least because it's gonna take her extra time to.
Yeah. I'm so dumb.
That's okay.
Okay.
And then if we have her pulled out just 2 classes or 3 classes a day, will that change this?
But we
Yeah.
did say that she's not gonna be pulled out, right? She's gonna have like an aide.
In writing, but in
She's
math,
we're pulling out for math and reading.
for sure.
That, because if you look at 72, that's 2 to 4 periods a day at a secondary level, but you also have to look at 76 to 228 minutes a day. If it's going to be anywhere close to that, you might just want to bump it up. I remember talking with Megan about it, and she said that
Just be safe.
be safe.
Mhm.
So, and then next time, if we, like for the next one, the next annual, they can be like, oh, we didn't use this many minutes. We can put her back to a 2.
Do you want to mention that? Like,
Sure.
do we mention the setting?
Yeah,
we have to
that's
make
one of
sure
them.
instead of saying like setting, we're gonna say like LRE. You know, like this is wouldn't that be like her?
This is a setting. It says it, type of special education setting.
Okay.
It's all on here. Do you have that on your sheet? Is it on that one?
the type of setting.
Maybe we should just all go off this one. Sorry.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that just touches our base.
Yeah,
Touches base
I'll
on-
just
Just so we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
Because then
And we're gonna be have to go through.
oh, I don't have that.
like our extended school year, do we go off of this? Like, do we say these questions?
I got the wrong folder. Yeah, my second.
Pretty sure too.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the note taking thing. What exactly am I supposed to be taking notes on? Like everything?
You
Well, is she doing the notice of the IEP meeting? She doing that?
I just,
taking notes on this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is this what we follow though? Do we do extended school year? Like, do we answer these questions as a group afterwards, or do we do it while we go?
That's like the IEP checklist. If you go back to the IEP checklist, it says like, did you do this? Did you do this?
Mhm.
I don't know if that's something that we're supposed to be like, yep, we covered that, or do we not do that? Like this right here, it says like, you covered all that, and then for this, does it describe the student in a positive way? Does it reflect parent guardian's concerns? Are we going through that at the end?
I don't think so, do you?
What?
You
Well,
don't-
do
I
we
don't
go
think
through all this at the end? That's the same thing that you're saying. Like, does it describe how the student's disability affects involvement? And then it's going to go, it talks about extended school year. Did you talk about the extended school year? Does the student seating need to be changed? Does the IEP specify?
Well, I don't think we need to go through that because we're not handing that in.
We're
Well-
hitting this in, but a lot of this information is going to be covered when we do the meeting, and we just go off of it. And some of this stuff is like the extended school year and all that. That isn't that in our
Yeah.
school?
That's in this.
Okay.
Okay, I might also just like start taking notes on like just a blank piece of paper as we're going through too, because like I don't want to. It's gonna be hard for me to flip through here, you know.
All right. So if we get like stumped or whatever, we're just gonna start over because we can clip out
Oh, yeah.
right the best one. So if we have to just start over.
Like from the beginning.
Whoa,
No, we-
it might take more than one run, don't you think?
No, we're doing it as one run, but we're just gonna do it.
If we need to stop,
Oh,
we need
the
to stop,
best 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
which is probably gonna be the first 10 minutes, I'm guessing.
We
One.
reduce ourselves 5 minutes. Okay. Should we
Tell
just
us your life story, please.
go with this?
Okay.
Wait, can somebody answer my question again? Like note taking, the just this, yes.
Yeah.
Just do it on there if you want. If you don't want to flip through.
Because I don't
I mean,
know.
we're gonna go.
Like when we meet, it might be beneficial if you want to write it on here.
Yeah, because we're gonna go by.
On what? This
This.
one or the IEP
what we're gonna-
checklist?
This is that thing that we have to. What we have to submit is this.
Yeah.
Correct.
So why wouldn't we just follow this?
One at a time, page to page.
Yeah, that's
Instead of how to
Instead.
run an IEP.
Well, I mean, we're like following kind of both of them, maybe.
Okay.
But,
well,
like,
I
I
don't
think-
have that. So
I think
we
doing
can pause
this.
to refer to this after we're going through each section of that.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, sure. That's gonna be a lot of cutting, but sure.
I don't think we have to cut. She knows that we're
Oh
going to
yeah,
be
never
stopping.
mind. Yeah. Then yes.
She's okay with us just like stopping and like going and stopping and going.
Just has to be
So
taken.
why
So
would
the
we refer
present
back to
was-
this? I'm confused.
Or we just.
Why don't we just follow this then?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Right?
Yes.
Just follow
Let's
that.
just
I
do-
don't have it. It's fine.
Let's just do this.
I'll look
one.
on with you,
So
and it'll be fine, right?
yeah, and
Does that say like introduce yourself, all that stuff?
No,
right?
but I'll facilitate that.
Yeah, so you just have to say like, ask for participation from everyone. So maybe you start with this because it
Yeah.
has like listed out like exactly. All right, let's just do this.
Okay.
Bounce like if I'm struggling, just shoot some stuff at me.
okay.
Like, go here. I think you're saying this.
And also like suggest things if people aren't like lose their train of thought or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just to keep it
And
flow.
yeah. And then you might, because like you'll try to remember what you were going to say and forget. And yeah.
Do we have a school name, or do I have to include that at all?
Sure, make one up. Say where you went to school. No, it doesn't say. Liana's a student at.
Lake School.
like school, high school.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like school, high school. She is 16 years old in grade 10. And after you introduce her stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we all introduce each other, and then I say all that.
Then you say all that.
Okay.
And then that form. Don't forget
It
to
is
hand out that
the-
form.
18th. 1 second.
It's 19.
It's the 19th?
Just started good.
No, I wasn't starting yet.
Oh.
I was writing on my paper. All right. Welcome to the IEP meeting for Leanna. It is October 19th, and I am Mrs. H, the administrator for the school.
And I am Miss W, the general ed teacher.
I'm Mrs. P, Leanna's mother.
I'm Mr. S. I am the English and civics special education teacher.
All right, and the purpose of this meeting is to reevaluate Leanna's current IEP and to make a transition plan. And so I would first like to hand you the procedural safeguards. I'm sure you got that in the mail with the notice of the IEP.
I did.
But I will just give you that again. And then
Do we have a sign-in sheet?
we do. Has any of your personal information changed? Have you moved or changed phone numbers?
It is not.
Okay.
Can I put on that?
All right. So, we are talking about your student Jenna, and she is 16 years old, and she goes to.
Jenna.
Oh my goodness! Leanna!
And it's her kid, not her student.
It's okay.
It's
No, you're
your
good.
Yes, my daughter Leanna.
Your little daughter Leanna goes to Lake High School, and what are we discussing?
Alright, let's just go through.
What is her current placement, Mr. S?
Age. Yeah, no S.
Yeah, can you just go over where she's at in your class? What you.
She tends to struggle with English, writing, and reading, and mathematics.
Okay. And you're Mrs. W, right? Just so I have this right.
yes.
Okay.
I will provide. I think we can all go through and provide our own input on where we think she is and her strengths and her weaknesses. And if you want to start where you like what she likes to do, what she doesn't like to do, what you think she's strong at, and then we can go off of that.
Sure. Well, I know she really likes to be active. She likes to go for walks, play volleyball, badminton. She loves to be around her family. I think she really just likes being active and being around people. So, yeah.
Alright, that helps. So that's some ways we can incorporate her. We can talk about that a little later. But I would say for just by knowing her, I know that she's very hardworking. She tries hard, and we can discuss some of her struggles. But overall, I think this is your role to say. You know, is it my job to say this stuff? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's okay. Just go with it.
So I would say,
Well, in your classroom, you get to say.
yeah, to start off for where she's at. I am the gen ed teacher in math, so that's Algebra 1 I teach specifically, and that's
Okay.
freshmen and sophomores. And she has problems. First of all, her scores is her math score. If you can look, she scored overall 57
Okay.
in her math. And that is low because 70 is average.
Okay.
So I suggest that the math, she knows how to do basic math,
Yeah.
adding and
She's comfortable with
subtracting.
that.
But when you add more complex, like algebra, we have equations and fractions, and that just might be a little too much for her. So I would suggest putting her in a resource room for that.
Okay.
I strongly, if you're okay with that, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Pulling her out and having more of a one-on-one in the math that she is age eligible to do or can do.
Okay.
So I would have her just be more on basic math and strengthen those skills with multiplying. And then I would incorporate since we're going to focus on her future transition, I would definitely incorporate the money skills.
Right, and that's what's super important to me. We just really want to focus on her transition skills out of the house.
Yes. And what money skills does she have struggles with?
She's good with counting like dollar bills. She's good with that. But when it comes to counting coins, she gets a little like flustered with that. So just the practice of that, I think we really need to work on. And obviously, we can do that in and outside of the classroom.
And I can come up with some worksheets and some activities that you can do at home.
Okay.
And
All right, so I worked with Liana in English because I'm the English and civics teacher, and she does really good in oral reading, but with comprehension, she seems to struggle. So we were thinking that we would pull her out of the classroom and have her come to the resource room to work on English.
Okay, so we're going to be taking her out of 2 different subject matters, correct? So
Yeah,
reading
for
and math?
Reading and mathematics.
yes, reading and math and writing. Since she's scored
70.
70, that's borderline, but that's average. So
Okay.
we're gonna have an aid in there with her. We talked about, and for math, since I am the general. I'm not special education math teacher. I will go over her with some curriculum that she can follow to teach directly to him, and I'll have
Okay.
her directly
Okay.
teach him in her classroom. And I think the same for the English, I'd imagine, or the reading, they will do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So their general teacher will kind of have a curriculum for them to follow.
All right. And you wanted to talk about assistive technology?
Oh, yeah. So to help with the English and then to help with math, we were thinking that if we could have permission from the school administrator to purchase a iPad that would help her with those 2 subjects in the classroom.
What do you think the benefits of having an iPad are? Are there like social benefits, or is it just purely academic benefits, do you believe?
It would be more of the academic piece because we want her to, you said she liked volleyball and that kind of stuff, so maybe she'll join sports after school. So when she's in sports, we should just have that put away so she can focus on the social aspect. But like during the classroom, have time where she can work on like math problems on it. Like we could put different math problems or different things she can read at home that we have her read on that iPad.
Do you think that's a good idea for Leanna?
I do. I just want her to, like I said, the social aspect and the transition is just really, really important to me. As long as this is something that actually is going to help her, and that she doesn't have like, I don't know, just fun games on it. It's going to be strictly academic in the classroom and also at home if I can work on that with her, because I'd be glad to do that. Are there other students that
We
use
currently
iPads?
have 4 students that have iPads,
Okay.
and
We're
of
able
those.
to monitor what is put on the iPad, so we can make sure that games and stuff like that aren't put on the iPad, and it's only strictly what needs to be on there for it.
Okay.
so it's closely monitored, and we check the progress of each student.
Okay, and this is something she can take out of the classroom too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think is there a policy about that? Like if they break it, or will you cover that? Just so I want to be clear.
You would have to sign like a liability or like a waiver, and there would be a replacement fee if it were to, screen crack or it had got water on it.
Mhm.
So we would, have to sign one of those, but
But otherwise, it's free.
Yeah,
It's free of charge.
free to
Only charge would be if it somehow got broken.
breaks or
Okay.
And if you want, you can monitor her use of that too, as the parent.
Mhm.
So
Right.
give her so much time to work on it,
Okay.
And we'll come up with a list of apps and resources that are free that we can put on there, and then kind of, if we want to do another meeting where we can show you how to work on them, or
Yeah.
Sure. That
definitely
would be
give you
great.
technical support.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I personally don't have any experience with one of them, so
Okay.
that'd be very helpful.
Mhm.
Um,
And then also, what were our thoughts about an extended school day or like an extended school year? Maybe like incorporating
keep her
it.
caught up.
Yeah, keep her caught up in her classes and maybe like facilitate social and socialization and things like that.
Yeah, because honestly, during the summers, like when she's not in school, I think that limits her social interaction, and opening that up to maybe not even like an extended school year, but extended like activities into the summer with classmates. Because
Or
I think,
summer school, if she would want to enroll in that. Like
yeah,
we have summer math classes and summer reading classes that are offered. If she would want to be enrolled in that.
yeah, and I think there would have to be like some kind of like positive thing for her, like being able to be outside playing volleyball for a certain amount of time, and not necessarily just completely focusing it on school, because like I said, the social interaction is really important. So
and they offer a summer school program for cooking, and she likes cooking,
yeah,
and we can incorporate her math skills in her cooking by the cups and the teaspoons and just the
yeah,
basic
that would be
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
And that would help with reading too, because she'd have to read the ingredients and
Follow
No,
directions
follow
and the
directions.
comprehension
of how many.
and how to make the recipe.
Yeah, that would be great for her.
Who knows, that could be a future career path.
Yeah, just that transition, and also social skills in with that. So, what else did we touch on? Oh, and I would also just kind of like to mention some of the things that she doesn't really like to do, and maybe you guys have some more input on that. She doesn't really like to clean, make her bed, stay kind of organized. Reading, obviously, is not something she enjoys either. So, I don't know, do you guys have anything to say about that? Do you see, like, organizational skills and, like, math kind of, like, going together? Or?
For her strength, and we can, she just doesn't like to read, but we can incorporate her reading and stuff that she does like to do.
Okay.
So
Make
we
it
can-
fun.
Like for cooking, we can incorporate how she reads the
Sure.
directions for that.
And she really likes looking through magazines and stuff, and maybe, like, cookbooks or, like, magazines with recipes in them.
Yeah.
That could be something that ties all of this together.
Mhm.
And also that's something I could help out with at home too, because I do cook, so something that could be.
And for organization, I think I can have if she will not be in my room for math, but just a suggestion would be having in the resource room, having her own kind of like cubby space. So when she gets done working in there, she can put it in there, and then to communicate more with you, because we want to have more communication. We can send it home in a folder what she needs to get done that night.
Okay.
And so then you can sign it and bring it back, or however you want to communicate with us. So we have a list of what she needs to get done that day, and then she can keep it in the room, the resource room. So she has her own designated spot for her materials in there.
Okay, another thing I have a question on it. How do you like feel about peer tutoring? Because I mean, I've noticed she doesn't have any really, really close friends, and her brothers and sisters do, so it's kind of hard for her to see that. I mean, she still enjoys life, but
we have an after-school tutoring program for any subject, and it is peer tutoring, and so we could incorporate Leanna into that program after school.
and this is this like students in her grade around the same, like how does that work? Who's she going to be working with? Is it somebody going to be that's a little bit higher?
Older students, and then
There'll also be someone that's qualified, so there'll be like an instructor or someone in those subjects that'll be able to help if the students aren't able to help her. So like first like try to have the peers tutor her, and then like if it's something that they're not able to answer, then they can call it to the instructor.
Yes.
Sure.
And this is a requirement that is done by the college, the local college. So we pull students in from them that are going to be teachers.
Oh,
And put them
okay,
into that
sure.
program.
So it's kind of like fresh for them, and they're
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we will have a professional there to guide them if needed.
Mhm.
But they are trained, and they are obviously not just thrown into it. They
yeah.
have background information before they
They'll
start.
like plan lessons, have lessons and stuff planned for her, and like we'll see
Okay.
like what she needs help with, and then go from that from each.
Okay, so she'll be working with other peers that are kind of struggling as well. So I don't know. I feel like she kind of maybe doesn't like realize that other kids are kind of in the same boat as her. There are others, you know. So okay, cool. What else do you want to go through?
I guess where we should put her in, like,
Which setting?
what
Yes.
setting she belongs best in. And I don't know, do you have any input on that, where you would like to see her?
You know, I'm not so familiar with the settings. Can somebody kind of refresh my memory? How many there are and
Yeah.
where she was at in the last IEP meeting?
So there is technically 8 settings, and how it goes from setting to setting is each setting there's like an amount of time and how many periods of a day they can be pulled from the classroom. So we were looking at a setting 2. It says special education services at least 21% of a day and no more than 60% of the day. So that would be like 2 to 4 periods a day.
Okay.
And then we were also looking at setting 3, which would be the special education services outside the general classroom for more than 60% of the day. So that would be 5 or more periods a day at the secondary level. So it just goes down to like the times, like how long she'll be out.
So we did point out that she's going to be pulled from both math and reading, but not writing, correct?
Correct, because she's very good at spelling.
Okay, so that would amount to how much time in each? Are they going to be equally split? What do you think she needs more help in?
What do you mean? Was he rephrasing in your math or?
Yeah, just like times.
So like how long
is
our
she?
class periods are usually about an hour and
So when other students are in their general and math class, we will have her in the special ed room for those periods. And then we're going to incorporate her in, so 2 of the periods, so we're going to have her in the resource room, and then the other one, the writing, we're going to have an aide in the room with the general ed
Okay.
classmates and peers.
So technically it would be a little over like 2 hours a day.
Okay.
And that can vary,
Yeah.
if more time is needed or not.
So
I guess we should go over her goals. What do you want her to succeed in? And overall, I think in math, I'd really focus on, I will create that curriculum where she can succeed in just her basic math skills, where she is, and build on those and get better and do multiple bigger numbers that she can add and subtract, and especially the money,
Right.
because that's going to help her in the future.
Just for like finances of her own, and obviously she's going to be living by herself eventually. That's our hope. And yeah, she needs to be able to.
And maybe even how to manage money and just go over some of
Right.
those strategies, because I think it's to the point where we're not gonna focus on long division and quadratic formulas and all that, because she needs to focus on the future and how we can, so
Okay.
focus on that. So I
and
want you
yep, and then for English, I'm going to work on comprehension with her, so like reading stories, and then be able to let me know like what she just read, to work on the comprehension.
Not just reading it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then also work on vocabulary, because she seems to struggle with like remembering like vocabulary words that we go over, like knowing like the meaning of them and why we use them, and then also just writing organization, because I've seen that she has a little difficulty with keeping things organized when she's writing.
Sure. And back to the post-secondary and employment, we're going to have a career day in 2 weeks, so I think it'd be really critical for her to see like all the different careers and maybe like spark interest in a field or and maybe have a goal, a measurable goal that she can get to like, work towards to attain that.
Great.
So, so we can focus on, is there any goals, I guess, that you want to in the future? Has she mentioned anything that she would like to do as a career?
Yeah, anything more that we can do to help her?
Is there? I don't know. Has she mentioned anything in class?
All I've heard her talk about was her sports interest
And her food.
and her food. So I would say, for a suggestion for sports-wise, I can talk to some of the coaches and we can try to incorporate her to be part of the team, going to practices, riding the bus. That will, and she can maybe have a career in that where she could, even if that's a voluntary situation where she can interact with her peers.
Sure.
She can do both.
Or maybe something in the health field because since she likes sports so much, but she also likes food, so maybe something in the nutrition aspect, like how you should, what you should be eating and how exercising, how many times a day, or that kind of stuff.
Great, just kind of like opening the door to those like opportunities and kind of like sparking her interest. Because I think, like I said, like I kind of was stumped there because she hasn't really with me talked about anything, but I know inside of the classroom you guys see some of her strengths that I don't.
Yeah.
So
I just think finding something that interests her, which like we said was the sports, and with the sports, I'll just find something in cooking that she would like to do for a future career.
Do you have any goals for Leanna in like the house and besides, like independent living skills and like the money?
She's really good with like we just mentioned, cooking, cleaning herself. She doesn't necessarily like to stay super organized, but a lot of teenagers do have like messy rooms, so I'm not like super hard on her about that. I really think that she needs to be like passionate about something, get excited about something, and like we've said, like mentioned multiple times, it's just like her interest in cooking and how many different things we can incorporate in that. So I think that's a great direction to head in, and like I said, I can help with that at home too. So in all aspects, we can really work together on that.
And we can incorporate her in the foods courses that we have.
Yeah,
at school.
Absolutely. And I think once she sees that she can be good at that, maybe that's something that she'll really enjoy.
So going back to the setting, so one that we're actually going to pick, do we all agree on setting 3?
Yep. I do, yes.
Yeah, it kind of concerns me a little bit that she's pulled out of a lot of the class periods of the day, because like I said, the social aspect, but as long as we do incorporate her in those like after school tutoring programs and like volleyball, badminton, whatever she wants to be involved in, I think I would be okay with that.
Perfect. And that doesn't mean she's going to be pulled this many minutes or this many times a day. It's just in case she needs it. Like if she's having a bad day or a bad weekend, she needs extra minutes in the resource room. It gives her the option instead of being like restricted at a setting 2 to only having so many minutes within the whole school year.
Okay. And the reason we are pulling out is for her own benefit. We want to see her succeed, but we don't want to put her in a class like our math that's just over her head that we know she's not.
Or
her skills are not at that level. So we wanted to do skills and work on skills to build her strong points.
Or vice versa. We don't want to put her in something that's going to bore her and then have behaviors occur.
And that's why, like, for the writing, we're just going to keep her in the general classroom for the writing because she does well in that. So keep her there.
And there'll be other students in the resource room. It's not just going to be her. So she will have
that social interaction, yeah.
So I think we could go in detail about our goals.
Okay. Yep.
Just like set those and stuff.
Yeah.
Alright.
So for academic goals, what do we want her to be reach? Do we want her for writing and for reading? We want her to build a better comprehension.
Comprehension, yeah, more comprehension, be able to write.
Right, and I think with that comprehension, I don't know, kind of like flow into her writing, and maybe she can eventually not have that para with her, like helping her with that every step of the way.
Going out of,
You know, yeah,
getting back to the least restrictive environment for her.
yeah.
And there will be other students that are struggling with writing that the paraprofessional is going to be in the room. She's just going to be more so taking notes, and then that way we can help her on her homework outside of the classroom.
Okay, so like with writing, like thinking about her future in writing, like what can you guys think of that's going to be like really crucial for her to like get set?
Just being more organized with writing and being able to write, make a paper flow, and stuff like that, because it'll also help her in her social aspects so that she can be able to communicate with others in a manner that is able to be understood by.
And that can be used in later life for, resumes and
Yeah,
communicating with potential job employers and
Coworkers,
coworkers.
communicating with coworkers.
So is that something you guys like work on in any of the classes? Is like building a resume or?
That's the that's a curriculum section for the writing class.
Great. Okay.
So all students will learn how to make future.
Make a
resumes.
resume, yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess should we start off with math? And her goals for math would be to develop the understanding, I guess, of the money situation.
money,
So,
coins.
we come up with a baseline that she knows how to do with her dollars,
Mm-hmm.
and then every week we will advance into quarters
Okay.
and pennies, and is that how we do it?
Yeah. Just like weekly goal set.
Yep, and how
So,
many
like,
she wants to get right and wrong. And we'll do this by, you can do this by doing mock examples, like play store, or
Stuff.
Grocery store.
put out like a picture of an apple and put the price on it, and then give her $2 and tell her to give you the change back. Just stuff like that. And we'll increase, but I don't know if there's a goal that you want, that you see like reachable for her.
Honestly, just like, when you go to like the grocery store, maybe if she's buying like stuff for herself for like a week to eat, it's gonna be around like $50, just as so she can like easily count like change and those like all those different like dollar bills like
So a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
The giving back change and
Yes. Just so she's comfortable with that, because that'd be really embarrassing, like going to a store and not like, and it also would be like, I don't know, like hurtful to her if she didn't get like the right change back.
Yeah.
She just needs to be like aware of what she's
So the goal would
giving
be
and receiving.
being able to understand the difference between your coins, mainly focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
And the dollar amount for each.
how many coins
how many
go
coins,
into the dollar. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully by the end of the year, we will hope that she can be able to go to a store and actually put this into progress.
Right, and buy what she needs and be comfortable with that. I think that's important. I mean,
And we'll practice, and I think you're right. That would help her in the future in the long run. So then, English, reading.
Yeah, so for reading, by the end of the year, she'll be able to hopefully comprehend multiple different books, because we're going to be doing something called the book club, and she'll be reading, it'll be 6 books throughout the year, and hopefully she'll be able to comprehend those books and be able to write an essay, which would also help with the writing skills.
sure. Okay.
And we do this by doing weekly assessments. We'll assess them every week to see if their progress is, where they're struggling. And then I just know personally that we do familiar stuff we take data on everything. So we'll be recording.
And if 6 books is too much, like I'll be able to see, and then we can
Maybe
maybe
sniff a book in between
yeah,
or something.
yep, and find ones that I can find books that are interesting for her and stuff like that.
Okay, sure. All right, and then writing. Neither of you are
Yeah,
ahead
I'll
of that, but
kind of tie that in with the English, just helping her write papers for the books. So just have to do a summary.
just connecting the both.
Yeah,
Okay.
connecting both of them and helping her be able to make a paper flow.
Connect ideas.
Yeah.
And we can make accommodations too to fit her needs. Like if the whole classroom is doing vocabulary words and they have 20 they have to do, she does not have to do that many. We can focus on 10.
Tiered instruction.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't be getting less out of the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be a different type of work that she would be doing.
She would be doing, so she just wouldn't have to do as many words. She would be doing the same words.
Mm-hmm.
Why it would be an accommodation and not a modification is because she's going to be doing the same words as the other kids, just not as many.
Okay.
So if they're doing 20, if she can only handle 15, we'll just have her do those same 15, and then the next one we'll add those other 5.
Okay. All right.
And then for interaction, for
Social skills.
I think her goal will be to, I would say, interact in, I don't know, what's a reachable goal for one peer, or we can, in a goal in school setting, we can incorporate her more with her peers, I would say, in after school events.
And we just think that will go up through her interaction with the sports, since she will probably join one of the sports. So through that, and then through the peer tutoring, she'll get that interaction too. So,
and maybe in the resource room we could include how to start a conversation with someone, or conversation builders, or what it's like to be a friend, and what you would like
what characteristics to look for
in a friend. So that could be a helpful
how to reach
tool.
out to people. And okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. What about sports practices taking away from this tutoring time? Are they going to be? Do you think practices we're going to be able to work it to where she has practice certain nights of the week, or time wise
We would definitely have to talk with the coach about what position or.
Okay, but for sure she's going to be set in that 3 settings, so she's going to be getting either way she'll be getting the social skills if she's in that tutoring after school or in sport.
Yeah,
you can have her choose what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
The tutoring's offered all week long, so if there's certain days, that she has a game or something and doesn't have practice right away after school, she could come there before the game.
Okay.
Yeah. There's not a certain set time where she has to be there. It's really her choice if she wants to come or not.
Okay, so we just want to set a goal, maybe get her interested in a sport, and going from there with. Okay.
Yeah, and we think that'll help increase the social interaction.
Yes.
All right. So, I think I've
for, I guess, transportation and her needs on that. And will you be providing that, or do you want the school to provide that to get her from practice? Normally the parents would take her home for practice, but obviously we'll take her to the games and home from the games.
Right, and that would be expected. I get off of work at 3 o'clock, and school and our practice is done by 6, so I don't see that being a problem at all. Definitely we can provide that transportation with her, or even if it's tutoring and she's only school gets out at 3, that's when I'm done with work, so between my husband and I, I'm sure we can definitely figure that out. We don't have any other students in school right now. They're all in college, so she's the only one left. I think I've asked all the questions I really have throughout discussion.
Are you happy? Are you happy with where we're placing the job?
Do you feel like she's included enough in the?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I just tried to emphasize throughout the whole thing is that we're just really, really thinking about her future right now. She is 16 years old. But I think all of this that we've talked about really will help her with that. I can't see.
It seems like we're all on the same page with
Yeah,
that.
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
All right, then if you don't have any more questions, we will definitely contact you about the tutoring and setting up, get more information for you about that. And then
Yeah.
the sports.
And talk to a coach.
And talk to a coach.
Yeah, the assistive technology will definitely
Mhm.
come into contact with
Yeah, about the training and kind of just
Yep.
giving.
We'll definitely set up a meeting
familiar
to
about that.
get you familiar with the technology and what types of things will be on the iPad and
what kind of
how
programs.
to run them and programs and things like that. So
Okay.
we will definitely set up a meeting time and
Have a
I
good day.
have a good night and we will see
Sounds
you
good.
at our next meeting.
Great.